Hey, you guys. So, I've been having a memory of my dad lately, and I just want to share it with you guys. And there's a point behind it. But my dad, he would always take time for us. Even as we got older, he would take us out on one dates and, just spend time with his children individually. And that I do, God, I miss that so much. And I miss my daddy too. So, those that do still have their parents, don't take your parents for granted. But let me tell y'all this story anyway. When he would take us out and eat individually, he would say, you're my favorite kid, and say all these great things about you. And one day, me and my family are all sitting at the table, and we start talking about, well, Dad said I was his favorite. And then we all end up finding out, well, my dad told all of us that we were his favorite. And we're like, Dad. So I look at my dad, Dad, didn't you say I was your favorite? And he tells me, yes. Yes, you're my favorite, in front of my sister. So I'm looking at so I turn around to my sister and I'm like, I told you, Dad said I was his favorite. But while I'm doing that, my dad would be behind my back telling her, no, you're my favorite, pointing with his finger and no, you're my favorite. But he would be mouthing it so the other person couldn't hear. Well, we all eventually caught on to what my dad was doing, but I don't think my dad realized at the time. I think it was just something he would tell us, but he taught me a very good lesson with that. And the lesson is I would think that's the same way God works. And I know a lot of people get offended by other people saying well, I'm God's favorite, because I've always said I was God's favorite. And people take that offensively because it says in the Bible God has no favorite. And I do believe he doesn't have any favorite, but I do also think he does favor his children individually at different times, but we're all his favorite. So when you see that you're struggling and you see that, your neighbor just got a new car, don't be mad, congratulate them, say, congratulations, it's beautiful, it's nice, because in that moment, maybe God's favoring your neighbor, but your time of favor will come, because God does. I think he loves us, and anyway, your time will come, and God will favor you when your time comes. And I think my dad just kind of summed it up best. I think that God favors all of us, and when it's your time, you will be favored too. And then you'll understand, oh, no wonder why she said she's God's favorite. Well, we're all God's favorite. We can all be God's favorite. God doesn't pick and choose. But also remember, because just because you're going through a hard time, it doesn't mean God has forsaken you. I think Rick Warren summed it up best. He was saying a sermon where he said, someone went up to him and was like, I'm going through such a hard time, and I'm going through this and that. And Rick Warren said, congratulations. And he said, he told the guy, congratulations, because when you're going through a hard time, that's when God's the closest to you. That's when God is really there. And when one door closes, the other door will open, and it's going to be a bigger door. Because if you see God and you believe in God, he's not shutting one door for it just to stay shut and that's it. No, he has something bigger in store for you, a bigger plan for you. So just remember, I do say I'm God's favorite, but you're God's favorite too. We can all be God's favorite, and he loves us all equally. So when I say that, I'm not saying I'm loved more than anyone else. That's just what I say. But I hope you guys have a good night, and I hope y'all had a good day. I love y'all. Bye.